What's up, everyone? Gary here with GBL Iguanas, and today we're back to our normal scheduled programming of some reptile talk. So, got a comment actually on YouTube the other day from a gentleman asking about, with how to really introduce Cyclura, because he was having some trouble with introducing a pair of rhinos or something like that. So I figured kind of do a kind of abbreviated. Frankie, what are you doing? A little abbreviated version of how to do that. We'll go sit in with the rhinos here in a second. Just figured show all of y'all how Frankie's doing. He's doing great. Oh, geez Louise. That level of trust between me and him still isn't all the way there, as you can see, because I don't want to risk him jumping. I still just don't fully know him and his tendencies, but he's still good. Hey, you're going to be like that today?
Let's go.
Whoa, no touchy. No touchy. No touch.
Okay. Normally he's actually been letting me pet him a lot lately, but right now he's not. So let's leave Frankie alone. Just gave him some fresh food. Let's go in with Sully and Tammy, and let's talk iguana introductions. Alrighty, so we are in here with Sully and Tammy, and just to talk, introducing them. So just kind of get right into it. It's not so simple where you can just throw a male and a female together and it's going to work out perfectly. It's just like with people. You throw two people together in a room on a blind date. Is it going to be successful? You never know. But there are definitely different things that you can do to help increase your chances of success. Like, showering, shaving. Iguanas. Sorry. Got on the wrong track there. So anytime you're going to introduce iguanas, even if they're young, and not even at sexual maturity yet, you want to make sure the number one most important thing is you're introducing them in neutral territory. So let's say this is Tammy's house, and this has been her enclosure. She has set it as hers. She's got her territory in here. She knows everything in here is fully hers. And then all of a sudden one day, I bring home a male for her, aka Sully. Hey, Tam Tams. What are you doing, baby? Sweet girl. Well, that's going to lead to issues, because now there's somebody new in her territory. Even though this is a large cage, it's still something new in her territory. And, rock iguanas as a whole, they are a more territorial animal. So that's going to lead to fights, and oh my god, those nails, Tammy girl. Oh my god. Okay, girlfriend, you were getting too big for this. So that's gonna lead to fights, and territory disputes, which is not a good thing. So first and foremost, you need to introduce them to neutral territory. If you don't have the ability to build a brand new giant enclosure, let's say, to introduce a new animal, and all you have is the one cage you have. So what you're going to want to do, you're going to want to take everything out of it, clean it really well, because you want to remove the scents off of everything from her, rearrange everything, put new things in, and basically make it a brand new environment. So now when you're bringing in someone new like Sully here, he's coming in, it's a neutral environment. It's a fair fight. So that's number one you want to do. Always want to make sure it's a neutral environment. The second thing that's actually really helpful is making sure both of the animals are cold, not heated up. Because when they're colder, they're calmer. So they're going to be able to kind of start seeing each other and getting used to each other a little bit. And then once they heat up, of course, that can very well lead to different disputes, but it's not going to be typically as bad. But you do want to keep your eye on them. So this isn't something where you just take the animals, put them in here, and you leave them be. You need to keep a really close eye on them, especially for the first hour or so. That's really when, if there's going to be a bad fight, it's going to happen pretty quickly. So you want to keep a really, really close eye on them. When I've introduced in the past, I sat down here in the enclosure with them, and then I've kept a broom with me. So just in case, if they do decide to start quarreling, you just take the broom and you can typically split them up pretty easily. So neutral environment, make sure they are both cold. I would say those are definitely the two biggest things. Because, if I were to just take both of these guys and they were hot and they were in, one of them had a territory, there's going to be a lot of fighting. Now, that being said, just because you follow those steps, it doesn't mean you're going to have success. That's going to help increase your chances of it, though. Hey, Tammy girl. Different factors that are going to play are the individual personalities of your animals. So if you have a male and a female, and they're both, pretty chill, pretty laid back animals, better chance that, again, you'll have success. Sully here is just as chill as can be. He has no cares in the world, and just nothing bothers him. This girl here could be going after him, and he's just going to be trying to get away from her. So that's great. Now, this little butthole here, she is definitely the dominant one. She is not one that's just going to sit back and, not want to be the boss. So that can lead to issues. If Sully was like she is, it wouldn't work. There would be just constant fighting. There would be injuries. There would just be just so much bad things. So you always want to have either, two passive animals, or you're going to have one dominant and one passive. And it's typically going to work because with Sully being passive, anytime Tammy here goes for him, it's that he's just trying to get away. He's not showing any signs or any body behaviors to exacerbate anything or, to make matters worse. So that helps to kind of keep her calm because she knows that she's still queen bee and she doesn't really have to worry about it too much. They might have their little spats here and there where she'll still try and be a little Ms. Dominant, but it's usually not anything that's too terribly bad. Now, having two dominant ones together, that it could work, but it's riskier. You're going to see a lot of disputes. With rock iguanas, you see a lot of what's called jaw fencing. So basically, this pretty little girl here would have her mouth wide open, like, ah, and Sully over there would be like, ah, and it's exactly what it sounds like. They'll go, jaw to jaw, side to side, basically pushing at each other, trying to assert their dominance. As well as, again, there's other fighting that can happen that can lead to some pretty gnarly injuries that you just don't want to do. So, yeah, again, just kind of recap. So, neutral environment, make sure they're both cold, and then know their personalities. You might not always know that when they're brand new animals. But you can talk to the breeder, whoever you're getting your animal from, see if you can get a good grasp on what their personality is like. Because that can just help quite a bit. When I got Sully here from Starborn, I knew that he was super chill. They told me that he was super chill, and his parents are super chill. So I knew what he was going to be coming in. Tammy was a freaking nut job. So I kind of had a feeling she was going to be that way. But it's okay. It's all worked out when you have a big enough enclosure. So going into a neutral enclosure, like I mentioned, so this just popped into my mind. Make sure it is big enough. You need visual barriers. You need multiple basking spots, multiple hiding spots. All those different things will help inevitably lead to your success as well. So make sure it's a big enough enclosure, neutral environment. Make sure your animals are cold, know their personalities, and just be prepared. They might be perfectly fine for a few days, and then all of a sudden you're going to have a bunch of spats, and it could come and go like that. But you have to keep an eye on it. If they're just chasing each other around, kind of showing their dominance, it's whatever. They still have their hierarchy. They still need to determine who's the alpha and who's not. So you're going to get things like that. Oh, you want to come up too, Sully? Alrighty. Oh my golly, those nails with that weight. Oh my god. I love these animals to death, man. So this is what you get when you get nice, tame rhino iguana, cyclura. They just come up to you and they just want to get attention. It's a pretty great thing. So yeah, so you just kind of follow those general guidelines and just keep a really, really, really close eye on them. Give them multiple feeding locations as well. Again, until you really know them. Like Sully and Tammy here, I know they're fine eating together, so that's why they get their one big pile of greens. But if it was something where were disputes, and while you're still kind of trying to figure everything out, you're going to want two different feeding areas with some sort of a visual barrier so they cannot see each other eating. And that's just going to help to play it safe as well, because food is one of those things that can inevitably lead to fights as well. So just if you kind of just follow that basic formula, better chance of you having success. And again, not every pairing is going to work. When I had Ron in with Tammy, it was just, they were both trying to be top dog all the time, and it wasn't good. There was never peace. They weren't thriving in there together. It just didn't work. And then, swapping Sully in here for Ron, it works. So sometimes you're going to hit a home run on the first try, and sometimes you might have to go through a couple of animals, which of course, it can be very frustrating sometimes too. But yeah, so in a nutshell, follow those guidelines, and that's how you're going to find success with putting rock iguanas together. Please, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, like the video, drop a comment down below if you have any questions related to introducing a pair of these animals, or any just rock iguana questions in general, and I'd be happy to answer them. So enjoy. Catch you on the next one.